You know, the last episode taught me a lot about what could have happened to Yellow Guy. The true origins of why he has batteries in his chest and why Leslie loves him so much. And we came to the conclusion that he's dead. But I looked up the statistics on how many people die from car accidents. But of course, it can't be that. It has to be something more deadly, something more serious that killed Yellow Guy just before he got hit by the car, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Jaundice. That's my final conclusion. I think Yellow Guy died of jaundice just before that car hit him with a giant splat. So eat that, Mr. Patrick Massett. I've got your number. But today, folks, we're back for another fine film theory from Matt Pat on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. And today, the episode is called Who's Really in Control? Now, unlike the last one, I kind of had an idea, like our brain waves were in the same compartment. But in this one, I'm going in without any idea. I have no idea who could be in control if the answer is not Leslie. Maybe it's going to turn out to be Roy, but I mean, that would be grasping at straws if he picked Roy. I legitimately have no idea who this could be. Maybe it's Fuzzy Muppet Man with Hammer. I'm putting my money on Fuzzy Muppet Man with Hammer. But of course, folks, I'd like to check out the original link more for original content creator. Link in the description. Go give Matt Pat some love. The guy makes great content.
A turn of the crank, a spin
Dang,
of
Leslie.
the wheel, fear, dread,
I see you fell your ass in the
excitement.
blender.
What is it you feel?
The program.
The cycle resets. We live once more to repeat the mistakes.
If you Jack in the Box me, Matt, I'm gonna be
again,
pissed.
We join our yellow friends.
Last time you scared the shit out of me with a jump scare. Don't you dare. Don't. Send it.
Hello, Internet.
That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Oh, Matt Pat, why do you keep doing jump scares in your video, bud? Is it because your audience likes jump scares or something? Wouldn't that like be a high click-off rate if you do a jump scare at the beginning? Also, people who like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, I really doubt like jump scares. Like, you can do it with the Five Nights at Freddy's gang because they, you know, that's their entire gimmick. But I feel like the people like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared like subtlety. They don't like jump scares. Anyways. See, this big dumb face made me laugh so hard.
I don't know the password.
Too bad for you, I guess. For everyone who does
You're
remember
not
their
allowed
password,
on
today
my
we're diving
YouTube
back
channel.
into the twisted world of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. In case you need a quick refresher, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, or DHMIS, started as a classic YouTube horror series that mixed Tickle Me Elmo with Dead Space. It was children's edutainment with a heavy dose of existential
He's not
dread.
wrong,
But
though.
then, earlier this year, DHMIS did the impossible. It got itself a full-blown, real-life TV show on the British Channel 4. And oh boy, is this thing full of cryptic secrets and hidden mysteries. For one, this guy right here, the yellow guy, he's probably a dead kid. Because
You showed me
of
like
course
7
he's a
different
dead kid.
things
This
I've
is
never
a
seen
theory
before, and now I
channel
gotta go
understand.
deep dive, you
In
son of a
this case,
gun.
we theorized that yellow guy is the puppet representation of a child named David. A child who was tragically killed by his mother Leslie during a car accident. The dollhouse and
They work
puppet
really
world
hard to make that
DHMIS we
horror
now
in
see is
JPEG,
just
so
Leslie
PNG.
trying to come to grips with this traumatic event from her past and move on. But that's hardly been the only theory that's popped up around this new series. One major unsolved mystery revolves around these strange symbols that appear in various locations. all
Oh, the
throughout
book
six episode
symbols.
run. I actually first noticed these back during the Fly teaser in spring of 2022, as one of the symbols appeared on a sticky note in the fridge. At the time, we had nothing to go off of, and our resident
That's just a
chemistry expert
dancing Muppet
staff was
Man.
able to confirm that it wasn't some sort of chemical structure. So we filed it away as a weird little detail that might pop up again, and pop up again it did, loyal theorists. These symbols are everywhere on the show. On computers, on refrigerators, on blackboards, and most notably of all, on the cover of the mysterious book that Leslie gives Yellow Guy in the final episode of the season.
You wanted this, didn't you?
And while at first
Did you see how much dust was in that shot? Holy shit, I didn't notice that. Leslie, how did you make it out alive on that shot? Sucking one gasp of air without going... But I always speculated with these symbols that they were going to be like a made-up language. You know how Tolkien made like a made-up language for Elven or something? They had an entire book about what it means. I always felt that like these symbols were going to be like you had to figure out the language if you're going to understand what all these things actually meant or what they say. I speculate that these are going to be some sort of language. Maybe Matt Pat figures it out in this episode. He went with the element table, which I would have been absolutely sunk. If you need a college degree to learn this, you ain't getting nothing from me. I just say funny man funny and go hee hee hee. And you guys go, thank you, Ryan. I didn't know that was funny, but now that you've laughed, I know. But I had this theory when I realized that one of the symbols was on the enter key. So I figured that if you maybe took that, maybe you could find out what each one represented as a letter, like E-N-T-E-R, right? But I have no idea.
In reality, they're symbols with a deeper meaning that can absolutely be solved. And that's important, because these characters are clearly stuck in a cycle, and decoding the book might be their only hope in breaking that cycle. Don't forget to change your batteries, loyal theorists, because it's theory time. It's theory time.
Don't do it again,
You'll
please.
See.
Oh, God.
I'd love to
It
sit
sunk
here and
last time.
record
What are you
live and
doing?
Tell you that today's episode is going to be me solving the symbol mystery. I can't do that, because someone else beat me to the punch.
What?
As I was doing research for this episode, I stumbled across a series of videos produced by the channel Rem Games here on
Oh
YouTube.
shit, that's what
Series of
people
videos
told
where
me to
he
do.
Do exactly what I was trying to do. Solve the coded message on the front of the book. And after watching the videos, you know what? I think he pretty much nailed it. Me and the rest of Team Theorists loved the way that he solved the mystery. So instead of just rehashing it all ourselves only to come to the same conclusions, we decided to invite him over today to represent his research in the
Huzzah!
Hey, I'm Remy. Yes, like the rat. I'm a YouTube gamer and theorist who tolerates FNAF and uses glitchy text in my video titles.
I don't want to be that guy, but he seems like an intimidating Jacksepticeye. Like if I don't buy his newspaper, he's gonna beat me to death with a crowbar. That's probably how he got on MatPat. He sent the videos and he sat out his window with a crowbar like, you better watch them videos, Mr. Patrick. You better like each and every one of them, or you're gonna hear from Remy. Remy as the musician? No, not as the musician. I'm just a small YouTuber trying to make ends. Okay, I looked it up. I'll think about it. I don't know if people are going to be upset that I didn't watch Remy's videos and instead I'm going to get like the Cliff Notes version, but people did suggest that I should watch his because they're very good, but I don't know.
I noticed a few of the symbols showing up over and over again. Obviously, the biggest and most important one is going to be on the cover of the book that Leslie gives to Yellow Guy, but you'll notice that inside that big symbol are a bunch of smaller ones that we see repeated in other parts of the world. For example, this symbol here on the top right can be seen on the spine of the yellow book in the show's intro.
Or this symbol here, which appears in both the show's trailer as well as this spatial distribution that Yellow Guy drafts up in the final episode.
And that
Clearly,
it's
they mean
subconsciously in
they're
his
putting
brain.
those places with intent, but how do you start to figure out what they could possibly mean? Well, you look for instances where a symbol is directly related to something someone says, and that's exactly what we get in episode 4.
Try my name.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That
Oh!
inverted P is Duck's name.
This is further supported by the fact that during Duck's funeral in episode 2, we see that
Ah! I was right, but I was wrong. I said that was the enter key. I thought it meant enter, but that makes way more sense. I didn't look at the most obvious thing of them all, the fact that he said my name. I just kind of pushed Duck out of the way. Get out of the way. That must mean enter.
the symbol and Duck are connected.
Exactly. But you know where else it shows up? Here, on this title card from episode 3, Family. But you see what else is there? It's another one of these symbols. The one with a bunch of circles and curved lines. So knowing that the one symbol represents Duck, what have we just seen happen to him in the story? Well, Red Guy has joined him for dinner back at the house. That curvy symbol represents Red Guy. That's why it's their two names on this title card and why Yellow Guy isn't mentioned.
And again, that's not the only
Didn't
time that
Red
we see
Guy
this
write that
symbol
down?
making sense as Red Guy's name. We see the symbol appear again in the trash of Red Guy's office during episode 1, Jobs. Clearly, this is him throwing away paper.
Oh, shit!
There's also the sticky note that's on the fridge that I mentioned earlier, which would make sense if he's marking something on the fridge as his.
So lastly, we need Yellow Guy's name. And while we don't have as one-to-one evidence to show this, we can figure it out by process of elimination. When the show shows a wide shot of Leslie's dollhouse in episode 6, we can see 3 symbols written on the walls. The first is Duck's name. We know that for sure.
Okay.
The second is Red Guy's name, which we feel highly confident in, which means that the last symbol here, this little robot face with a pointy tail, by process of elimination, that
Interesting.
must be Yellow Guy.
Which now brings us back to the mystery book. Within that one huge symbol on the cover, you can see all three characters are represented. But why? What are the creators trying to say with this new language? And what are these other symbols?
Why are the other two so
connected to our
angry?
main
Yet she's
three?
so
Well, if
happy.
we look at the way that the cover is constructed, it can actually tell us a lot. This is going to be a massive oversimplification of some complicated linguistics, but there are a lot of different ways to make a written language. For example, English and other Romantic languages are made up from alphabets. They have letters that you can put together to form syllables or words, and then you can use those to make up more complicated ideas.
But that's not the only way to make a written language. Another major way is by using logograms, where different
Oh!
symbols represent individual words. Kanji.
Yeah.
Japanese,
That's
and
what I was
ancient
thinking. I was thinking more
Egyptian
Japanese.
hieroglyphics. Those are examples of logographic writing systems. But if you take it one step further than logograms, you get ideograms, which
My
are
mother
symbols
called me an
meant to
ideogram
represent
once.
entire ideas. So stuff like numbers or the symbols that we use in math, those are ideograms. The number 1 represents the entire concept of 1, just like the plus symbol represents the entire concept of addition.
Languages made up from
Am I the only one that feels really stupid right now? I'm getting that same feeling I did when I sat in class and the teacher said one thing. I'm like, I don't really get what she has said. I probably should continue to listen. But by the time I said that thought, I just missed like the middle part, and I'm like, oh shit, I have no fucking idea what she's talking about. Oh boy. And then my brain just panics. I'm in the panic part.
stories with relatively few symbols. If you want an example, we can look at UNLWS, or the Unker Nonlinear Writing System. Using this, we can break this big squiggly line into smaller squiggly lines.
Of course, it
each
means
with their own
4
individual
Pac-Man's
meaning,
Ed.
like me or eats. But put together, this symbol means I eat a large fish.
So,
I
given
was
how
close.
individual
The fish's
symbols on
name was
cover
Ed in my
mostly
story.
all flow into one another, it would make sense then that the DHMIS language works in a similar way to UNLWS.
Mm-hmm.
Yup, the individual symbols each convey an idea that can be put together to make a much longer and more complicated story. This would also explain why it took Red Guy so many keystrokes to type out Yellow Guy's name in the computer episode.
Maybe
Oh.
it's my name. Try my name.
Are you? First off, press the arrow key a bunch of times.
He has to combine a bunch of symbols to create the idea of Yellow Guy.
I mean,
Also, it's, just a funny joke.
ah,
Yeah,
dang it, you
that
beat me
too,
to
I
it, man!
suppose. Sometimes some things are
You're
in
making
there
me
just to be
useless.
funny.
Stop making the
No,
reaction
never.
YouTuber
You take everything
obsolete.
way too seriously
Again.
here. There is no such thing as a joke or an Easter egg in this house. No, sir.
That's
Bunch
for
of
sure.
Sloppy lore.
Don't you mean lore?
Not bad.
Why, thank you.
But what's it all mean? Sure, we've decoded the 3 major symbols. We know how the writing system works, but what's
He
it all
said
trying
thank
to
you as he
say?
had a crowbar
Honestly,
behind his head.
I'm not sure. I think it relates to those windows in Leslie's room.
I'm actually glad you brought those up because they're one thing that you kind of glossed over in your videos and something that I haven't seen anyone else fully address. Just to fill everyone in, when Yellow Guy first enters Leslie's room, he walks past a series of 3 windows, each with an item from one of the episodes on display. There's a square window with the Chuddle Dollops from episode 3 Family, a diamond window with the shovel from episode 2
I always
Death,
thought
and
it
a
meant-
circular window with the batteries from episode 6 Electricity.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
notice
I
the
took
lining
electricity
on
as
those
life.
Windows. They're colored green, red, and yellow, which
So I went
obviously
with Family
line up
Death
with
Life.
characters in the series, Duck, Red Guy, and Yellow Guy.
But the items don't really seem to line up with the colors they're assigned to. I mean, sure, the batteries in the yellow window make sense because in that final episode, Yellow Guy changes his batteries and suddenly becomes smart.
Yeah.
But Duck can't open the bag of Chuddle Dollops in episode 3.
Let's crack into these chuddy D's.
Open up. Open up.
I can't.
In the
Really,
end, it's
sorry.
Red Guy who manages to
Mob
open the bag.
mentality.
I think things might go a little differently this time.
But who wanted it the most?
Guess we could-
They're mine!
I know, and the same
Oh.
thing happens with the shovel. Despite being in the red window, Red Guy's the only one to never interact with the shovel at all in episode 2. Yellow Guy uses it to dig up Duck, and Duck ultimately
and he's
uses
not-
it to kill his doppelganger.
It's not his time to die.
Actually, no. 4 doesn't work. There's 3 of us.
So why would these items be associated with characters who failed to use them on the show? Well, I suspect it's a hint to the greater story that's happening here. The same story that's being told by the book. You see, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is a story all about characters stuck in a loop. Not only does Leslie outright say this at the end of episode 5,
No matter how much the wheels turn, the journey always ends up back at home.
Other
God, the
characters
sound effects in
openly
that episode
acknowledge
is
how
so good.
repetitive their lives are.
All we do is sit around and then some guy comes and tells us about banks or vegetables.
The cycle really seems to be getting to Red Guy.
We live in an actual nightmare!
And of course, there's the picture of Yellow Guy walking up the stairs as he's walking up the stairs. This is clearly not the first time he's done this, despite having no explicit memory or knowledge of it in the past. So if we're in a cycle that repeats over and over, maybe there are parts of the story that play out differently in different repetitions of that cycle. During this iteration of the loop, Yellow Guy ended up with the batteries, while Duck used the shovel to kill his doppelganger, and Red Guy opened the Chuddle Dollop. So clearly, things aren't quite right. Things didn't turn out for the best, and that's because things didn't align with what Leslie has up here in her room. Red Guy didn't end up using the shovel, and Duck doesn't open the Chuddle Dollops himself.
That actually makes sense. We know for a fact that things can change during each loop. First of all, we see recurring characters and props from the YouTube series appearing here on the TV show. Things like the clock teacher.
Spooky boo. Boo! If it's loops in different types, that's how you explain the web series. And that's how they're still technically episodically the same, but completely different. Oh! I gave birth to an idea, baby. His name is Samuel. Like the web series maybe is like did something in the right order, and that's why the day went forward one. That's really fascinating. I still think it may be connected to what they're saying about episodic television and how it's just the same old thing over and over and over again, and nothing really gets accomplished. I think that's where it's also going, but that's just me. I also got the theory from Matt Pat, so.
Notepad, the computer teacher, and even the food guy, they're all here, but are used in very different ways.
Yeah.
There's also repeated references to Clay Hill, the town that was supposed to be the focus of DHMIS's original TV pilot. It's here, crossed out on the blackboard of the big boys' room.
Oh!
It's here during the transportation episode.
I missed that completely. I did see this one, though.
Sorry, that place doesn't exist anymore.
It shows that the cycle has some level of awareness of the past, but with small changes in each run.
Inside joke or lore?
It's
And then
always
here,
both,
just
bud.
take a look at this house from the beginning of episode 5 compared to this house.
That's what makes
from the
it
beginning
beautiful.
Of episode 6. Notice anything different? For the house in the episode 6 intro, there are additional bricks on the corners. All the curtains and windows are different colors, and there are fewer trees around the house compared with episode 5.
Man, apparently I filled up my memory card. And we're back. All right, sorry. Sorry about that, everybody. Sometimes your camera explodes. A little fire extinguisher, little talk with the old fire department. Running away from the fire department because you think you owe them money, but you don't actually owe them money, and you're just on fire, and they're trying to put out the fire, but you don't want to be hit by the giant hose or the white goo that you don't know what's inside of it.
This would make sense because this is a different house in a different loop. Remember, Leslie has to reset everything at the end of episode 5.
And this, my friends, is what I suspect the book is for. It's telling Yellow Guy the correct series of events that he and his friends need to do, explaining what.
So does that mean like the original cast that was in the dump got killed?
What Yellow Guy needs to do with the batteries. It's telling Yellow Guy and us the story that needs to happen in order for everything to move forward. We even get hints of it on the cover thanks to the pictures embossed in the leather. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
on
so
here
it
that we
seems
can
like every time they
recognize from the first
escape,
episodes.
that's when
Duck's decapitated head,
re-
Yellow Guy's
redoes
dismembered
itself.
hand, the shovel, the battery,
Starts over.
the coin, but a lot of it just doesn't quite fit right. Notice the worms. Eagle! Sorry, notice the eagles around the coin and battery. That character had nothing to do with either of those stories. There's also this weird decapitated Yellow Guy head on here, something that, again, we didn't see in the first 6 episodes. Why are all of these markings on the book if they never happened? Well, maybe it's because they're supposed to happen. This book is literally the script for the right series of events to help break the loop, to end the suffering, the torment, so everyone can just move on. Speaking of scripts, you know one thing that never...
Pause! Yellow Guy and Duck Guy did die in the web series. Yellow Guy falls in the goo and dies, and Duck Guy gets eaten alive by a bunch of weirdos. I don't know what that's about, but, you know, whatever gets Leslie rocks off. Is that saying that's why they actually went forward a day, because they actually did the right timeline in the web series? Ooh, interesting, because Red Guy's the only one that didn't die.
Sat right with me throughout these first 6 episodes, Grolton and Hoverus.
Oh my God, yes!
The show just takes a break from the action so the characters can sit down and watch clips from this in-universe Wallace and Gromit spin-off. It is weird,
Grolton is the leader.
The sequences can last for a surprisingly long time.
I just realized Brother's visit isn't until next month.
Grolton is the dog.
No, Grolton is the man, Hovris is the dog, I reckon.
But you know that when a creator chooses to include something so prominently in their series, you gotta ask yourself why. So I did. Have you noticed who worked on these episodes? Leslie. In episode 3, we can actually see that she's credited as a script editor. For
Shit, I didn't notice that at all.
Interesting, because it means that in DHMIS, Leslie holds a position of creative power. So if she's a script editor and also happens to be handing Yellow Guy a book that explains everything, it's likely the book
is a script
for the correct sequence of events. The only question left is why? What's it all for?
Well, it might be due to forces beyond their control. You see, during one of my rewatches, I noticed this offhand joke in episode 2 as Lamp explains what he thinks happens in the afterlife.
Well, something tells me that when we die, we go into the center of the earth, and we must relive our lives, but as a performance for a new super race known as the Council. And every time you get it right, you get a pound.
When I first watched the show, that always struck me as a bit weird, an off-the-wall joke that was just so strange that it didn't make any sense. But then I realized that this is how episode 1 ends.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. You've earned
The coin!
Duck is given the DHMIS equivalent of a £1 coin, while everyone else is left penniless. Now, this could be Duck's digital currency based around respect, but if we take what the Lamp said at face value, this must mean that they weren't being paid by the council for their parts in reenacting this part of their lives.
We've theorized in the past that Red Guy has a creative soul, but in his Jobs episode, he winds up as a manager of the factory. Knowing what we know about him, he would never be a manager at a factory like that. He didn't do it right. Same thing with Yellow Guy. As the episode goes, Yellow Guy grows old in the factory and ultimately retires to be with his family.
Is every
But if
episode
Yellow
a
Guy is
loop?
really David, then he wouldn't have lived nearly as long as we see him live during the storyline. It appears that whatever happened in this episode with Duck was a part of the correct order of events needed for the series to progress, which also means the council are the people deciding it all.
But then who or what is the council?
Well, at first I thought that maybe the council represented the cast and crew of the series.
I said it once, I'll say it again. This is the council. And they have spoken.
After all, the show breaks the fourth wall constantly, with performers, producers, and directors visible to
Fourth
us
wall?
as the audience.
I thought I'm in
Here,
this
during
world.
episode 4, where we can see several puppeteers, Red Guy's actor, even co-creator Becky Sloan during the episode itself.
Oh
Here,
shit,
in episode
I didn't
6, where
notice
Yellow Guy
that.
sees two of the puppeteers piloting the teachers.
Also,
in the
nice
boy room.
tattoo,
But
man.
remember that there's a level in the house above Leslie's room, accessible via a stairwell hidden in the back corner. And so if Leslie is a creator of sorts, then what's above creators in a creative industry? Well, that's the people with the money. Producers who won't proceed with scripts and fund them until you get it right. Heck, you could even argue that there may even be a level above them, the audience, who seem to be more than willing to watch the same stories over and over and over
my
again
God!
with just slight variation.
This is
But
what
also
I
audience
said!
Immediately blows up and gets angry when something is just slightly off. It's funny, the Don't Hug Me I'm Scared YouTube series spent so much of its hidden mystery talking about creatives and how money corrupted what should be a pure form of art with kids' entertainment. I'm really surprised that the TV show seemed to veer so far away from that sort of meta commentary, since it seems so important to the creators in that original series. I suppose we just needed to look a little bit harder, didn't we?
Is this when we get to say the thing?
Yep, this is when we say the thing.
But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut.
So in the end, the answer was, I was right? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. We went through all of that to figure out what the book means? And the answer was the thing that I said that was completely unrelated to that? I'm going to be honest, Mr. Matthew Patrick. I feel like that had nothing to do with the book at all. I feel like I learned about the book and it was really interesting, but I don't really feel like that came to the outcome at all. But I did it! Two theories. I came to the same conclusion, except this time, the first one I was pretty close and then he veered off a little bit. This one, we went and we came to the same conclusion. Wow. Oh, this is not what I expected. I expected to be the buffoon that didn't realize that Red Guy was the puppet master all along. But in the end, I was right. I'm not used to this and I don't know how to feel. Though the book stuff was very interesting, but you want to bet at the top it's going to be a mirror. That being said, learning about like the loop idea is really, really interesting. There's a lot of small stuff I didn't notice, like the house being different. So it's implying that like the end of episode 5 and the beginning of episode 6 are two different entities, right? Episode 5 is actually where the show ended, and episode 6 is where the episode starts over again, which is so stinking cool when you realize the house is different. Also, I'm surprised that none of these theories brought up yellow guy looks into the mirror and sees the other yellow guy, right? They never mentioned that. I'm really sure. I was waiting the whole time for them to mention that scene where he sees like the messed up hair and like him like being smart. Like, is this gonna actually be? Oh, please, 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 please don't hug me. I'm scared, creators. I ask you, I beg of thee, please don't do an alternate timeline. I can't stand alternate timeline. It's so confusing. It's always overly confusing and never fun. I don't want like that's that timeline and that timeline. I don't want Spider-Pig. I just want Spider-Man. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. I hate it so much. Every series that's ever done timelines, I ended up hating. Except Steins Gate, the only one that did it right. But I don't know. I'm really surprised they didn't mention that because I feel like that's a really important bit of information that would like give us clues. I wonder if anyone will ever figure out like what the books say. Maybe if I watch Rem Games, he'll give me more information. Guys, should I watch the Rem Games one? Do I need to watch it after like getting the Cliff's Note version on this? Has he figured out something else that I don't know about? I'm truly curious. You are the battery or shovel of this idea. You decide. Will it die? Will it live? You find out. This was a really fun watch. I had a great time looking through this stuff. And I love looking through theories and ideas on this series. I don't know if we'll ever get answers. I kind of hope we do. I've always said this. I really hope this is actually a cliffhanger instead of an ending where we'll always be asking questions and kind of theorizing about it. I really hope they get another season. Please, Channel 4. Please, the fake council. And please, the real council. You must have them make another series. I need it. I need more Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's one of my favorite series of all time. Great stuff, Matt Pat. But it looks like your boy beat you to it. Yippee! I don't feel smart very often on this channel, but I feel pretty good that I came to the same conclusion not once, but twice with Matt Pat. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, remember to subscribe, like down below, and write a comment about this video. What did you think of this episode? Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.